Hi, fifth graders. Please double check that you've filled out your table of contents. If you haven't, turn into the inside front page and write order of operations. And this is lesson 16. You can catch up on that later if you didn't do it already. This is what your first journal page should look like. The second page is basically the same thing, just different problems. So we're going to start with the first page, and I want to go over the question down here at the bottom, and I'm pointing at it. I'm going to use a white paper so it'll be easier for you to see, but it'll be down here in the bottom corner. I'm going to try to enlarge it. I think that will help a lot for you to see what we're doing. So there we go. Now let's look at this problem and think about PEMDAS and what we know we should do first. We have our little hint paper, parentheses, exponents, multiply and divide in order from left to right, add and subtract in order from left to right. So right here we have parentheses. Let's take care of that first. So 2 times 3 is 6. And then we're going to rewrite everything in the problem. Now when we look at what's left, we have division and subtraction. I just slide this in here, PEMDAS. Multiplying and dividing are before adding and subtracting. So division is my next step. 36 divided by 3 is what? Yes, good. It's a 12. And 12 minus 6 is 6. And that is your final answer. You can circle it. And now we have one of our problems finished. Okay, on this same page, I want to go to the problem that is right above this one. So I'm going to slide my page down. It's in the middle of your page. I'm going to sneak this little PEMDAS sign over for us. Okay, let's look at this. I see 2 sets of parentheses. Now, unless you're really tricky and you can hold a pencil in both hands and do 2 separate problems at one time, we can just handle doing this parenthesis and then the one on the right. But you can try the other if you want to. Okay, 2 plus 3 is 5. I'm going to go ahead and write my multiplication symbol. And then 21 divided by 3. What is that? Yes, 7. Good. All right. That looked like a tricky problem, but what's left? Just 5 times 7, which is 35. Good. See, that wasn't so bad. Okay, the third problem that I want us to do on this page, right next to this one, we're just sliding over a little bit. Here it is. This one's a little trickier because it has an extra set of parentheses or brackets. Do you see that? Okay, so I like to think about having some type of telescope, and I'm zooming in to the very inside of the problem, inside the innermost parenthesis. And what we have is 15 divided by 3, and that is 5. So I'm going to write my 5, my subtraction sign, and then I can just put a basic parentheses because I've already worked the inside. Now I'm going to put my multiplication symbol and my 13. Okay, so now what we need to do is 6 minus 5, which is 1, times 13. Boy, we got lucky. That isn't even hard to multiply, is it? 13 times 1 is 13, and that problem is finished. Okay, let's go to the next page, and we are at the top of the page, the very first problem, trying to get it lined up in the screen. 5 squared times 2 squared equals 10. And it's been a little while since we've done anything with exponents, so let's do a real quick review. 5 squared does not mean 5 times 2. Whoops, that's really crooked, sorry. 5 squared means 5 times itself, or 5 times 5, which equals what? Exactly, 25. And then 2 squared, well, that one's kind of funny because 2 squared is 2 times 2, which is 4. Okay, so I wanted you to keep that in mind. So if I said 7 squared, what would that be? Good, good, 49. Okay, so now we can look at our problem. Remember, the first step is P for parentheses. We don't have any parentheses. Our next step is exponents, and we have 2 of them. I was kind of joking with you on the other problem that you could try to do them both at the same time, but it really was a joke. You just need to do one and then do the other. So 5 squared, 5 times 5 is 25. Put our symbol. 2 squared, 2 times 2 is 4. And now divided by 10. Okay. After parentheses and exponents, we have multiply and divide. That doesn't always mean you multiply first, but in this problem we do because we multiply and divide from left to right. So my next step is right here. 25 times 4. Think about money. Think about quarters. Good. 25 times 4 is 100. Divide that by 10. Very good. That's 10. Okay, great job. Okay, the next one that I want you to look at on this page is actually right next to that problem. This is a little bit, well, it's a little bit tricky because the square, the little 2, right here, is on the outside of the parentheses. Remember, with PEMDAS, we do our parentheses first. So what's inside the parentheses? 2 plus 1. And 2 plus 1 is 3. So we're finished with what's inside. We can now just put our exponent right here. And then multiply times 4. So now what we're ready for is to do the exponent. 3 times 3. Be careful, it's not 3 times 2. We're taking 3 times itself, 2 times. 3 times 3 is 9. Good. And what is 9 times 4? Very good, 36. You guys are getting to be pros at this. You will amaze me tomorrow when I see how well you did. Okay, so we're going to move on down below that problem. Right here. Thought we'd try another one that has 2 sets of parentheses. Do you remember how I said we should kind of like zoom in and go to the inside parenthesis? Right here. So let's solve that. 4 times 5 is 20. I'll go ahead and write my symbol, my 36, and I can just put regular parentheses around that now, and a times multiplication times 2. All right, I still have a set of parentheses, so that's my step. 36 minus 20. Good. 16. And I'm going to write my multiplication again, my multiplication sign, and my 2. Okay, who can tell me what 16 times 2 is? Very good, 32. It just occurred to me that I have not told you about these triangles. Have you noticed on each of these problems, if you write it the way I am, each sentence gets a little bit shorter until we get to the answer. So it's like a triangle. And it works really nicely. All right, one more together and the rest of them will be on your own. I tried to pick a few of the tricky ones. Let me tilt, oops, sorry, I'll make you dizzy. Okay, again we have 2 parentheses. Let's go to the very inside ones, and we have 16 plus 6. What does that equal? Good, 22. I'm going to go ahead and write divided by 2, and now I can just put regular parentheses around it, and then times 5. Now if I look back at my little paper, my cheat sheet on PEMDAS, I still am working in the parentheses. So hopefully you remember what 22 divided by 2 is. Great, it's 11. And now I'm going to write 11 times 5. Oh, good. You guys are really good at 11s. And 11 times 5 is 55. And that question is answered. So I'm going to look back real quickly. It looks to me like you have 3 problems on the first page. This one, and this one, and one down at the very bottom. Okay, so that'll be easy. On the second page, you only have 2 questions that you have to do on your own. And look at this very last question. I'm not going to do it with you, but I just noticed something. Inside the parentheses, there is an exponent, and it's a 3. Just a little hint for you. That means 3 times 3 times 3. Okay, to solve that one right there. 3 times 3 times 3. Once you get that number, you'll add it to the 7. Okay? Good luck with that. If you don't get it, it's okay. I can help you with it tomorrow. Okay, you've been great. The last thing to remember to do is to put your little PEMDAS cheat sheet on the 3rd page of your journal, and underneath it to put your grading rubric. Okay, good job, class. Thank you.